these brewers don't get together with each other on this level very often. So there's a lot of knowledge exchange. There's a lot of potential collaboration coming out of this. There's a lot of people making friends for the first time. They respect each other from afar, but now they got a face, a name. They've tasted what's in those bottles, and they understand how they got there. Like, that's going to matter to them from an artistic standpoint going forward. So culture that comes out of a place like this can change. It can change a whole niche. Pretty important. And to give that kind of access to a city like Pittsburgh's unprecedented. That just doesn't happen very often. And on the beer side, to be able to just like find a niche and make that matter to more people like this thing, I think between this and what you've already established years on end now with Barrel and Flow, like the stuff that's happening in Pittsburgh is some of the coolest shit happening in beer anywhere right now.
Because these beers, my tongue has been dancing all the entire time I've been here. My tongue just been like, what the fuck is going on?
All right, you're asking for it, so here it is. Listen to this.
I want you folks laughing at we part of this pod, kid. You understand? We in here drinking, singing, swinging, all that shit, dog. Get sweating, get wet.
All right, welcome to the Drinking Partners live podcast at Pittsburgh Mixed Culture Fest.
Yeah.
They don't know we doing it. We over here live. We in like one of the livest fests you'll ever go to. First of all, we on borrowed land. I'm pretty sure some of my ancestors hid here.
Right. We built this. We built this in case anybody was wondering.
That's dope. This is a fire setting. This is crazy. It's the inaugural, I would hope, right? Like this is going to be the inaugural because we're going to make this thing happen each year. It might maybe every month the way I'm feeling, man.
Yeah. Nah, man. There's a lot of yeast in the building.
There's a lot of yeast.
It's a yeasty situation.
A lot of yeast, a lot of beer, a lot of people.
This is a Brewers Brew Fest. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I saw a lot of brewers come in and are sampling and doing the thing and whatnot, and that's rare, man. Usually motherfuckers sleep on Saturdays.
Well, this for the folk who really love beer. You know what I mean? They're like, you really got to be in it. It's a specialty fest, you know?
Yeah.
Certain styles, you know what I mean? And then I done seen about 4 notebooks, so I know folks is in here taking notes.
Yeah.
But before we start, we got to shout out Cinderlands Beer Company and Trace Brewing for putting this on. So everybody, whoever's listening, clap it up for them because we're going to put the flake claps into the... we're going to put it in whether you clap or not. Whether you listen to us or not, I'm talking.
Yeah, we here. Yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh Mixed Culture Fest, the inaugural, out here at Freedom Farms in Valencia, PA.
Shout out to Adam over here with the sock game.
The coolest man in the burg.
Crazy right now.
You heard him on episode 250
251.
251?
251. We had him at Paul here from Cinderlands Beer Company. We over there, they talking, man. This is like, I feel like more information is going to be passed here than any other festival.
This is like the Comic-Con of like Brewfest. You know what I mean? Like, folks come dressed up like yeast and hops and shit. They wearing their like,
you know what I'm saying?
Their fanciest attires and shit. You know what I mean? A motherfucker was telling me how they brewed a beer, not with limes, but with lime leaves.
Lime leaves?
Lime leaves.
So not the...
Because he was like, listen, I don't want it to be as limey as a lime. I wanted just the essence of lime.
So what do you zest it and then pick up the zest? And
they don't even zest the motherfucker. They just take the leaves, bro. That's the type of festival we at right now.
I didn't even know limes was in leaf
What is you doing? What is you doing with the rest of the lime?
Can you smoke lime? I would zest some lime on a loud pack.
He ain't even want the zest.
And make it Sprite.
I feel like you could probably roll up, you know what I mean, with some of them leaves. But
rolling that Sprite pack.
Obey your thirst, and which is exactly the theme of this festival. Folks is out here obeying they thirst, for real, for real.
I love the layout. I love, a couple barn situations. You got the up top. You got sheep out there. So if you haven't seen the sheep, I named them Chelsea and Marla. They out there eating, you know what I'm saying? So
they getting it in.
They getting it in.
Living their best lives. It was wild because when I saw the map, it was flat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I was just like, oh, yeah. And then I turned around and, like, this, like, you hike, we hiking out here.
Well, that's what I think the industry is going to go to, the 3D maps. Like, if you go on Zillow or something, you got to get the 3D virtual tour of the house. They're going to do the 3D virtual beer fest tour.
You're going to have to when you got 3D beer festivals. There's a couple of grades up here. It's a nice workout. You can like get, you know what I mean? Like you can get your drink on, you can get your hike on, you can get your food on. There's a couple of good eateries out here. I saw some shawarma out here, which is I'm looking forward to getting to and whatnot.
Trucks. Yeah, I think you got Cinderlands got their food. You got other food trucks. You got the mixed culture. We're going to talk about the beer. But it's also a different experience for anybody, right? Like I don't know how many folks in here have grown up on farmland, but for me, just the atmosphere is crazy. Like just being out here, seeing this setting, man. And I love where beer fests are going. You know what I mean? With Barrel and Flow and with Mixed Culture Fest, just kind of specializing and creating a different experience at every festival. Because this ain't like just the other festivals.
Yeah,
You're
man.
just walking around a large grassy knoll with just beer falling on the grass. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a different experience. I enjoy this.
Yeah, man, this is very picturesque. Like when you see the pictures, you'll understand. This is definitely a special, occasion. We got brewers that have come in from all across the country, even all around the world, man. Somebody is in here from like Belgium and shit. And I was like, you mean like? Because I feel like there might be a Belgium, Ohio, right? You know what I mean?
Oh, there's definitely a Belgium.
Yeah,
in the States, because we still
New
everything
Belgium,
in the United States.
Right? Yeah. Right? And he's like, no. Old Belgium. Like,
Actual Belgium.
Right? I mean, so, from all across the world, they even got a foeder set up in here, which is, I'm going to have to ask where the fuck that came from.
I don't know if they actually brewing right now or if this is just somebody just flew it in just to be like, we stunting.
I feel like everybody that comes in pours a little on it, you know what I mean? And then they just go on next year.
Oh, it's like a cuvee foeder.
Ooh, a cuvee foeder.
So everybody just add a little bit of what they want to add
a fuvee.
To it. A fuvee. All right, you heard it here, folks. A fuvee. I don't know if this is a construction, like this hat here is crazy. It's like it's a reflective sun blocking.
Is he working? Hey, excuse me, sir, with the bucket, with the neon bucket.
You work here, don't you?
You work here? Is you working? You just came in.
That's a hell of a hat. Like,
that is.
You gotta be safe. Okay, so he don't plan on leaving.
I feel you, bro. Especially up here.
You got a little melanin, so I'm right there. Got a little melanin.
I'm looking at it like, all right, man.
I gotta make
sure
they know
for the culture, for the mixed culture.
For the mixed culture,
yeah,
we know where you are. We made eye contact. We're good now.
Get the head nod.
Is that where this country's going? You gotta have a reflective.
I feel underdressed now. Like, you know what I mean? My man's living in 2032. Or 1932, depending upon how you look at it and whatnot.
These folks coming in ready to drink. They're giving out sunglasses. That's another thing. Like they're giving out swag.
Wait, they giving out sunglasses?
Yeah, you ain't get your mixed culture.
I ain't get no
Party-esque.
Let me get these.
Your party-esque mixed cultures. We got some culture, and he came with the big boy.
Speaking of Belgium,
this the Rick Ross stunting in the club bottle.
Speaking of Belgium.
This ain't the regular I'm drinking with my friend's bottle. This is a celebratory, I just signed a deal bottle.
Yo, look, that's the big body bottle right there. With the
Now we feel like VIP.
Yeah.
Now this is definitely a section. We just need a couch.
Shit. We had we got the whole I guess a bus just came in, you know what I mean? We got a bus of folks out here.
Is that the tractor that was driving around?
Shout out, folks. Shout out to Bloomfield in the building. Bloomfield.
Yeah, Bloomfield ain't seen this much grass.
Shout out to everybody east out here, you know what I mean? Whatever.
They hear from Bloomfield. They like, what is all this green stuff on the ground? It's grass.
Molly in the building. We see y'all over there.
It's like, we only have concrete.
We had the scholarship winners coming in and whatnot. All right, folks.
They came through? Okay.
We recognize.
Okay.
So we got our guests here. For the folks that don't know, and I'm gonna finish my drink and then I'm gonna get some of this big ass bottle. For the folks that don't know, who are you and welcome to the cast.
Did he mic check?
Oh, is it on? Is you in there?
Is this thing on?
Hello.
Yeah, it's on.
That was it.
Yeah. Some volume.
Nice.
Cause this is one of the VIPs right here. He brought beer from afar.
All right, y'all. We can hear it now.
Belgium, we here.
Yeah, just like 10 minutes south of Brussels, which is the only place in the world where you can make lambic, which is this spontaneously fermented beer.
Wait, it's the only place in the world where you can make lambics?
So
Is it like a thing called lambi?
But yes. So it's the lambic. The style of beer is from that region, so it's like champagne sort of. So you can make sparkling wine.
Like,
so
you don't
it comes
get
from
real
Lambia.
champagne outside of.
It's
Lambia sounds like an African country.
I like that, but yeah, no, it's they call it the Pajottenland.
Say that again.
It's like Pajottenland.
No, wait.
You said peyote?
The peyote?
Pajottenland.
I was gonna say this is drugs that you give.
The peyote lot.
This is liquid drugs.
You getting your beer from the
This is
peyote
liquid
lot.
drugs in the big Rick Ross bottle. That's what he meant when he said put Molly all in her drink. She ain't even know it. We just discovered something. This is crazy.
It'll alter your life for sure.
So wait, who do you come here representing? I'm sorry, we didn't get
So the brewery's called Drie Fonteinen, which means three fountains in Dutch.
Okay.
And then who are you?
My name is Christian Gregory. I worked for a beer importer for a very long time before this, and then started with Drie Fonteinen about 2 years ago. And yeah, we just make spontaneously fermented beers in a very, very traditional way. It goes back hundreds of years in Belgium. It was like the drink of the people, more or less, was lambic.
Lambic
drink of
breweries. Say that.
Brouwerij.
Brouwerij.
Lambic
Brouwerij.
You're a brave dude.
Oh, okay.
I'm not even looking at the bottle to try to figure this out. I'm just going off his description.
Oh, we out here we getting fancy
We
out
got
here.
Drie Fountain over here. Got my man's bringing it from 10 minutes. What is it, south of
It
Brussels?
look like your glass is empty. Come bring your
more or less in
glasses over here.
Brussels,
We got
You
beer
got one
from
empty
Belgium
glass
over here.
Get
Y'all
you
need
some
to
of that
get some of
VIP.
this.
You got to let him pour something in your glass because it's a big bottle.
Flew all over. We ain't gonna drink this all ourselves. Come on, get some of this big bottle
We
over here.
glamorizing beer.
This is from a lambic brewer.
This is authentic.
From
This
Belgium.
is straight raw.
Look at that. Look at that cloud
This
on
that
there.
straight raw.
You know what I mean?
I love them shades too.
Oh, we
Them shades is fire.
professionals.
Them
That's a
shades is
professional
fire.
pour right there.
So you said this is the drink of the people.
Yeah, so if you can go back and look at artwork in the Louvre, and it's got like Flemish peasants drinking lambic. So this is like old
Flemish-
school like farmers
Flemish
beer.
peasants. That sounds like you offended somebody. Don't
So
cancel us
this
out here.
is-
We ain't trying to get.
Wait a minute.
I don't
though.
want to.
I'm talking
any
like-
Flemish in the building. We
I'm-
do not. We love you.
No, I
just
think-
the same.
This is brushless.
It's lovingly
moonshine.
embraced. But yeah, then they basically you take a spontaneously fermented base beer, a lambic. You blend a 1, 2, and 3-year-old lambic together, put it in a bottle for at least a year, and it re-ferments. So it's almost like a champagne, like the champagne of beers. Not to take that away from.
It's a curated.
I'm pretty sure they took that away from y'all. It's all right.
It's a curated cuvee. So you're taking three different lambics
it is a
exactly,
cuvee.
exactly. Yeah.
with spontaneity. A curated cuvee with spontaneity.
That's the most.
That's what life is, right?
right.
It's a mix of shit that we're
Right.
trying to control, but you don't have no control.
Right?
This is
Live
life we drink.
spontaneously.
You try to guide it as best you can. You can't always do that. It just does its own thing. We have another beer actually that never re-fermented. It decides not to for some reason. We can't figure it out. It's a mystery. The yeast
middle child.
the yeast just leads. Yeah.
It's a middle child. I'm just not gonna pay attention.
No, so we try to do as little as possible to the beer. So everything is organic. It's from local farmers. We are actually growing our own grains in a lot of places, working with a collective of farmers, working with
heavy bottle to pour.
fruit growers. And anyway, the point really is to let the beer ferment, put it away for a few years, blend it. You make your cuvee,
Yeah.
and then from there, that's the only place where we actually kind of intervene is that blending process, where it's like picking the characteristics you want, anticipating how it's going to change after a year in the bottle, and then deciding how best to release it. And every single blend is very different. So that's kind of the interesting thing is we don't want consistency. We want the yeast and the beer itself to sort of just do its thing.
I was going to touch on that, right? Because you go year in, year out and whatnot, and a lot of breweries, I guess what they strive for is consistency, right? That's why Budweiser and Miller Lite and Mass Beer is what it is. Say what you want about it, but every time you open that can up, whether you're in fucking Pittsburgh or Belgium or fucking Ohio, whatever, it's going to taste the same, right? McDonald's is going to taste the same, right? There's something to be said about consistency.
Unless it's the McDonald's by the airport. Those are better.
They are, man. They are fresher. I don't know what the fuck but with this, you're getting something different, which is dope, but isn't it a little scary? Like, I mean, are you ever like, I mean, how do you not know what's going to happen, but know that it's going to be good, right? How do you maintain the quality without knowing what's going to come out of it, right? Like, I mean.
So the nice thing is, I mean, the brewery's been open since the 1880s and like in the same family since the 1950s. So there's a lot of experience that goes into it. It's a lot of like intuition, and it's kind of knowing what the environment is going to do, what the yeast is going to do. We're also a blendery, so we don't brew all of our own wort, unfermented beer. We brew 75% of what we use. The rest comes from other lambic breweries in the region. So it's nice because it is very inconsistent. And what we're looking at, though, is a barrel room with, I don't know how many hundred barrels. And you can take different characteristics from different barrels and sort of blend to a consistency. If you've got a bad barrel, it gets dumped. We probably dump more beer than most people also.
Yeah. We've done some episodes, so we understand. Yeah, I mean, when you listen to this podcast, it's a blend, right?
If it's not good.
And if it's a bad episode.
You will listen. They're going to listen because we're going to shut off all the beer and just, we're going to stop pouring. Like, listen to us. But no, so is there a bad blend, right? Is it two lambics that you put together? You're like, you know what? Probably shouldn't have done that.
Right, yeah.
And then is there something that you can look at to say, well, don't put those two together?
I would say it has happened, but that doesn't happen often. Michael, the blender, he's got so much experience. He kind of just knows, and we just know to dump a barrel before it gets blended. The inconsistency can come from the fruit. So when we start adding fruit, all of our fruit, again, comes from local farmers. We have like direct partnerships with all of them.
Oh, wow.
We grow a lot of our own fruit also with the scarbexa cherries. I can't get into it now, but we have like a collective of 600 families that we've given cherry trees to.
Oh, okay.
So
You've
just so
given
they can
cherry
grow.
trees?
Yeah, it's a really specific kind of cherry that only grows in this region. It's called a scarbexa cherry. Scarbeck is a different suburb of Brussels. So these cherries have like a large pit, not much flesh, and they're super, super sour. And they grow in they're more like bushes than trees almost if you see them. But you can't really cultivate them in the traditional way. Like you can't graft them. They're just finicky. So they have to be grown from a sapling. They're tough to grow. And they used to be everywhere, but then as the city expanded, they sort of got paved over more or less. So we're trying to revive that because that was a really traditional cherry. But in any case, that was a tangent. What I was looking for to say though was like the fruit that we use is probably the most inconsistent thing. So you have to, obviously the fruit comes in, it's all whole, it all gets put in, skins, stems, seeds, whatever. We don't press it, it's not a puree, it's not juice, it just gets dumped in. And then every now and then, like particularly with fruits with high acidity, it can really affect the fermentation process. So sometimes, that's where it comes in, where it's like you might try a batch later on and you're...
So some of the fruit is Reggie. Because that's what you just described.
Some
of it's red.
Yeah.
It's got that it's got sticks and seeds. It's like, all right, it's going to be all right.
That brick.
It's all good.
There's some of that brick. So why are y'all like so coveted? Like, what do you believe is the reason why this brewery has been around for 100+ years? What do you look at? 130
140 or something, right?
140 something a minute. How what is the secret to success, do you believe, that separates you from all the other ones that ain't been around for as long?
You give
there's been a lot of I'm sure there's been a lot of motherfuckers trying to lambic it up in Lambia, and they just ain't cut it. You know what I mean?
It's a community project. You give people trees to grow their fruit.
Is that you just buying off motherfuckers with trees?
Honestly, that is a big part of it. It is so tied into the local culture. It's like what people grew up with. But that said, like in the 70s and 80s, it was hard. Before my time. But there was this. So basically, they say after World War II, the American GIs came to Belgium. Everybody was drinking Coca-Cola. This is the lore. Who knows if it's true?
Yeah.
But they said basically the introduction of Coke, like Coca-Cola, to Belgians meant that everybody's taste shifted to like sweet.
Oh, really?
So they used to drink sour beer. Weren't after that sugary stuff, and post World War II, and then eventually getting into the 70s and 80s, lambic producers almost universally with Fonteinen never did, as far as I know, but that was like against business sense. So most people were adding like artificial sweeteners to lambic.
Oh,
some
shit.
still do.
It's cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the commercial industrial versions might be filtered, pasteurized, centrifuged,
Yeah,
whatever.
Anything commercial is going to be watered down.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of it too could just be a wheat beer that they add a small amount of lambic to, and then add flavorings. Anyway,
They spiked the punch.
without getting too far into that, I'll say what we do is about as natural as it gets. But yeah, the taste of the 70s and 80s kind of shifted the whole scene, and yeah, it was hard to survive if you were making weird sour stuff that nobody wanted to drink anymore. But there were a few, so like Jean-Pierre at Cantillon, Armand. Our paterfamilias at Fonteinen stuck by or came back to unadulterated, like unsweetened, straight up lambic, and eventually it caught on, but it took a long time. So we're still around and people appreciate it now, but it wasn't the case all the time.
So you talk about shifting the scene, and I think that's appropriate, right? We're at the Mixed Culture Fest. Obviously, that focuses on the beer style, but I know Day and I have seen firsthand how the industry itself trying to ingratiate, mix the cultures, and involve minorities, involve different folks out here. How has that affected the brewery and kind of what you produce? I mean, I know you all talked about you give trees out to folks in the local community. They get special cherry trees and stuff like that. But how does the community affect like what you try to do in a wild fermentation environment? Like,
yeah, it goes again back to the whole like the culture, the history. We want it to be a local people's beer. We want it to be for everyone. We want people to ride their bikes to the brewery and hang out for an afternoon with the whole family and like really just enjoy what it's. I don't know, less a beer and more of like a tradition in a lot of ways. So in that sense, we don't want just beer geeks drinking this. We want everybody drinking this. We want, no matter where you're from, whatever, trying lambic. And that's actually a big part of my role. I mean, I'm the only American at the brewery, and part of the reason I was hired
you're
was
a white dude who's a minority? Welcome.
Welcome. For the first time ever. Actually, I will say I think we employ more women than any other brewery in Belgium.
You are like probably the most beardless guy here. Yeah, I mean, so
yeah.
that might be.
This is like 5 weeks of growth.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, you don't fit the industry profile. You don't.
I was once told at a beer festival that I was post-craft because I didn't have a beard.
Oh wow!
This was circa like 2013 though, so I don't even know where we're at this point.
Is that person here?
No, he's in Manchester, but.
He might be here because this is a very beersy. This is a beersy crowd, like a beer nerdish crowd. Because again, it's a specialty fest. So like when you say mixed cultures too, I love how the industry is diversifying how it presents itself. Not just hey, come out drink the most beer, but a specialty type of beer. We're gonna highlight saisons and lambics and things here, and we're on a farm, which is crazy. So like, I just enjoy the nuance now.
Yeah. No, one of my favorite things so far about this festival has been just people who are here for the event, who don't really know what our beer is or why it's hyped or anything like that. And they just walk up, try a beer, and it kind of changes what they think about lambic or what beer can be. So
was your intro to beer lambics? Or no, you said you're American, so yeah, okay. So what was your intro to beer, like craft?
Truth, how did you get into beer, man? What's your thing?
I was studying, and I lived in France during college and in Belgium for a while doing an internship, and I sort of got into beer traveling in Europe. You could drink at 16 legally in some countries. And so my first beer was De Koning, actually, from Antwerp, which is not, I won't speak ill of it, but it was super interesting to try as like a first beer, aside from little sips from your parents,
Yeah.
I'm from New Orleans, at the Crawfish Boil, you'd always have a little sip of Miller Lite or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, first real beer was there, and then like studying and sort of having my adult brain form over there, it was more exposure to European beer. And I just randomly happened to run into the owner of an importing company when I was living in Brussels. Got my degree in economics, but then just left and immediately started in the beer industry. So this is all I've ever done. And it's all from this weird sort of esoteric, expensive, weird, hard to pronounce beer perspective.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, That's gonna be my thing from now on. Anytime I want to shit on somebody, I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna speak ill of them. That is the
Bougie now.
Yeah, I mean,
You bougie, bro, because you build royalty now, so you can be a little bougie. Like, they know your name, bro. You got to stun on some folk.
You know, I saw somebody pour some Yingling. I won't speak ill of Yingling, but I mean,
Well, first of all, if you say I won't speak ill of, then you already spoke
That's
ill.
what I'm saying. That's the new way. That's the new way to shit on somebody. I won't speak ill of Yingling,
but it ain't lambic though. They don't put Yingling in this.
Nah, that's a rapper bottle.
I
bro.
was about to say, bro.
That's a rapper bottle.
I think you should just let me stand at Adam should just let me stand at the doorway like this. I just need disco lights. I need a chain. That's what I need. I need disco lights and a chain with this bottle.
When you talk about reaching out to other cultures, I feel like that bottle in and of itself speaks to hip-hop culture. You know what I mean?
I think Moneybag Yo.
You pull up with one of those.
Moneybag Yo will drink out of this.
Right, you know what I mean?
And it's sudsy, too.
Right? You know what I mean? Look at that pour. That's a hip-hop pour.
That's a
culture
fire.
pour there.
I like the head to beer ratio on that. I did well.
Right? That's a VIP bottle right there. You know what I mean? Reaching out. See what I'm saying? Mixed cultures.
Yeah,
Reaching out to all the cultures.
Let it go, man.
You know what
I saw another bucket hat walked in.
He over here drinking with his pinky out, but he can also be drinking over here. He ain't drinking as fancy as we drinking right now. You know what I mean?
I've seen New Balances, I've seen Jordans,
Right.
I've seen Crocs,
Right.
I've seen a lot of toes though.
You know what I mean?
A lot of male toes
sandals.
in here. A lot of sandals. No socks. I'm a little upset.
Birks. Where's the Birkenstocks?
Look at that conflicting floral
Who got
over
the
there.
Birks out? Who got the Birkenstocks?
Look at the conflicting floral over
I
there.
mean,
You got.
The Cole Hans. We done seen some Cole Hans out here.
There we go. Got the Vans coming through, thong sandals. It's like, all right, man.
Right here with the Cole Hans automatic.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we do appreciate you coming out, Christian.
We appreciate you bringing, authentic lambics to the city or the outer city limits. I don't know.
I don't know where we are.
We're going to claim it as Pittsburgh. We're going to claim that you brought it to Pittsburgh because that's the most major
I don't believe
city
our
here.
next guest brought beer with him, and he should have.
What type of
I don't believe you don't believe you gonna come on this podcast without beer.
What type of
he ain't get the assignment. Nah, you
it's
can drink
enough.
this.
I'll leave
you
that.
can drink whatever you
can
bring.
drink that, but you got to bring
you got to
something.
bring something to the table over
You
here.
just standing over
he ain't
there.
get the assignment.
Because he got on a summer flannel. He got on a short sleeve summer flannel. Let me how committed you are to being a brewer when you find a short sleeve summer flannel.
With the patch.
Where did you get that? That's like from the Army and Navy store. Like that's not you don't go to like a Burlington and get that. You like your aunt knitted that for you. How does she
That's like your superhero outfit. You know what I mean? When your mom comes out and be like, I heard you were brewing beers but it got torn up, so I made you this.
When your family has determined that you're doing well enough for them to invest.
I'm going to let y'all continue the roast before I become a victim
you for
also.
coming
but,
out,
Thank you
man.
for coming out,
appreciate
Christian.
you.
Thank you for bringing us this beautiful beer all the way from
Yes,
Belgium.
sir.
Yeah, no,
I'm
super happy to
taking
be
that bottle home as a souvenir.
Yeah, I'll leave it here.
bronze
Y'all
it.
enjoy.
I'm going to bronze your bottle. Pause.
We'll see you a little later, man. Have a good flight.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
You got to get some of that.
Man, you can come have a seat.
Come on, have a seat. Yeah, you done walked into it because this is how we cast. This is how we cast. We're about 37 samples in because they just pouring so little.
I mean,
But everything seems to be a 7+.
yeah. Real boozy. I did have a 2. I had a 2.
I did have a 2.8. Was that Hitchhiker?
Hitchhiker was pulling that,
Andy
but it
was
wasn't
pouring
from Hitchhiker.
No, it wasn't from
it was somebody
them, but I know
else.
Andy was
And it was
pouring
called a Buzz, which is
it
deceptive.
had some bite.
Yeah,
Well,
I
it had
mean-
some bite. Like it had some kick in it.
Yeah.
So it was fizzy. It was kind of like a seltzer type situation.
It wasn't too bad,
It was
you
a
know what I
2.8, and I was like, "Is that technically alcohol? I could give this to my
2.8?
son.
Yeah, that's like a kombucha.
I can get that
You
to
know
my
what I
son.
mean? You look in that kombucha area right there.
Yeah, I can. You can rub that on somebody's gums when they lose a tooth. Tingle a little bit.
A little in the bottle.
You could use that to cleanse the missing tooth, like when it's still kind of bloody, but it's just sitting blood. It's like
Yeah.
red right there.
Yeah.
You can see the other one
Little
trying to come
swish.
out like, are we safe? Yeah, you throw a little buzz on that. So we got Matt from Alesong.
That's right,
in the
Matt from
building.
Alesong in Oregon.
What's going on, man? Thank you for joining us here at Pittsburgh Mixed Culture Fest, the inaugural. inaugural. We're going to
Yeah.
keep saying that, the
Yeah, yeah.
inaugural.
I like that
because
word.
Everybody in here is going to be here next time.
Yep.
And we ain't even guaranteeing next time is next year. It might be next season. I don't know. I don't want
Did
to
you
commit
pour
nobody to
a
work.
little bit of beer into that filter over there?
No, I didn't hear. We're supposed to do that.
That's what I'd
I think
imagine
we
they brought
created
it out
that.
here. I
We
feel like
created that.
everybody's
That's a great
going,
idea.
We created that movie.
Oh, yeah.
everybody's going to pour a little in there, and then next year we going to fucking figure it out.
I'm in.
It's
We'll do it.
a fouvet.
Yeah, I
It's
like it.
yeah.
I like it.
That we saw, so that might be the craft beer's first rap entourage. Like the way he came around with the beard, and his people behind him, like, oh, we got somebody.
Oh shit, he
famous.
came with the entourage.
He had an entourage.
Yeah,
He got
with the beards and
beard.
ponytails.
Yeah. I like it. So, Alesong, Oregon. How did you get involved?
Oregon?
All the way from Oregon.
Yeah, other side of the country, right on.
How was that flight, man? How did you get out here?
Well, I took a red eye from Portland, so I slept the whole way.
Yeah.
I dropped off in Chicago, slept from
So
Chicago
we
to
got
Pittsburgh.
two Portlands in the building
Yeah, Portland, Maine, Portland, Oregon.
from
Well,
both different sides of the
yeah.
country.
Yeah.
Man, they really doing big shit
Has
over here at this
anybody
festival.
else, did we collab
So
Portland
Allagash
to
is over at Portland, and then Portland's over here at
So would you
Alesong.
do a Portland to Portland?
And y'all at the
Yeah.
same
Yeah,
table.
sounds
over.
like-
Yo,
Oh,
y'all
We're right
Port-
beside
I
each
didn't even
other.
realize that.
Right
Okay,
beside
now
each
I
other.
see it.
I see
And
how they
actually-
mix cultures.
Actually, we're Eugene.
I see how they mixing cultures. They trying to
Yeah.
do a Portland collaboration.
Wow.
You can call it a Portland Pilsner, the PPP, and it'll take everybody
There
under.
it is.
But we don't make
There
any
it is.
pilsners.
We out here selling. I mean, so
That's
you
what we
came all
do.
the way out here from Oregon.
Yep. Why?
Yeah.
Well, look around. You know why.
Shout out to Hot Dog Lou in the building. You know what I mean?
Shout out.
But you came
Is
in-
that
you-
Sykes?
Sykes out here. You know
Oh,
what I
that's
mean?
family
Sykes.
all over there.
We got Hot Dog Lou
That's
in the
fam-
building.
That's fam. That
We got-
whole little group.
We got Mikey in the
We got
building.
Mikey in the
Yo,
building. We got
yo,
Sykes.
the-
Hot Dog. That's family right
the
there.
mixed cultures in the building
I-
out here.
Sock game official. I see he came out now. He ain't come to play. Them church socks he got on. Them ain't-
Them and the hiking boots.
That's a weird. That's a. His feet gonna sweat a little bit. 'Cause
He knew
got
he was
hiking
coming to the
boots and
country.
them
church
is
socks.
dress
He was
socks.
coming to the
Them is
country.
dress socks. That's ill-advised, but beautiful. You
So
know what I mean?
to come from Portland, I think folks want. How did you get beer here?
We have a distributor in Pennsylvania now. Yeah, Serene is our distributor. We sell beer in Pennsylvania now. How about that? Yeah.
Yo,
Serena's been doing a lot in the craft. I know other half is over there now.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot of the hype, right? And I mean
Yeah.
the folks that are like highly sought after but hard to get.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
right?
help,
Beast beer?
small breweries like us. They help out a lot.
what up, though? Sarah Lou in the building. I'm sorry, it's celebrities coming
That's
through.
fine.
First of all,
That's fine.
you
You got
gotta,
friends.
you
Everyone.
got that shirt and them glasses. You got to be famous. That ain't this ain't nothing Reggie about
You know
that.
what I mean?
Doubling up.
We sitting with celebrities doing celebrity type things. We got Portland in the building, Sarah Lou in the building. I'm feeling good.
There it is.
Okay,
Did you
okay.
see? So Oregon, how do you become big in Oregon? Because Portland is weird, right? Isn't that the thing?
It is weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And you're making weird beer.
Well, Eugene, really. Yeah, I mean, you keep saying Portland. We're 2 hours south, so it's like you'd say
Okay.
you wouldn't call Gettysburg Pittsburgh. So
Some
we-
motherfuckers might.
Well, they
Yeah,
might.
yeah,
They
You're
might.
equally 20 hours from where we are.
Yeah. I mean, motherfuckers be saying shit.
So whatever, right? Yeah.
That only
But
makes
you're
a
right.
difference in Oregon.
We do different things. We do different things.
So how do you differentiate yourself in an area that is really like famous countrywide, worldwide for beer?
Yeah,
You know what I
for
mean, like
sure.
it's a big brewing
Yeah.
area.
Yeah. Well, what we do that makes us totally different than all the breweries in Oregon is we don't make any IPAs. All we do is barrel aged beer.
You don't
100%.
make IPAs.
No.
That's bold.
We make one
Hold up.
IPA a year, one for our anniversary. It's our anniversary beer because we make these type of beers all year round.
You don't make no IPAs.
Zero.
They make one.
Now,
Not a damn IPA.
we
You
put
ain't never made an
one-
IPA. You ain't
just for our
not one.
anniversary.
One
I mean, I
for
have.
the
I've been a brewer for
anniversary.
21
Yeah,
years.
but
my brewery.
Alesong ain't made no IPAs?
No.
One a year.
No,
for
we
the
do
anniversary.
We just one a year, and
One.
now we do it in collaboration with someone else at someone else's brewery.
So you
we
only
don't
kinda
really
make it now.
That we only kind of half make it. Yeah, we don't
Wow.
sell any IPAs except for guest IPAs. We don't make
Wow.
them. So everything we do is aged in barrels, 100%, either wine barrels or used spirits barrels, and that's what we do. And we're out in wine country too, so we're 20 miles outside of town.
Okay.
And so it's like this. It's exactly like this. And you know when you go to a winery and you sit out on the hill and you're like all your troubles go away because there's no traffic, no loud noises except for the roosters crowing and the cows mooing.
All your troubles go away. I'm out that motherfucker.
Well,
I'm
I know.
but
we don't like it to be too quiet.
Right.
Too quiet means somebody plotting. Somebody about to sneak up on you.
But I get it. Yeah, I mean, I do enjoy a rooster from time to time.
Yeah, I do enjoy it.
Boy, I learn something about you every podcast. The hell you starting enjoying roosters?
I've been called a cocky motherfucker from
Zing! I saw
we
what
in a
you did
barn.
there. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So I want you to know this is not typical of the Pittsburgh area.
Right.
So you ain't in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
right, I know.
So I get it.
I know.
Because
Yeah.
you ain't
I feel
really,
at home here.
I was going to say, you feeling
Right,
real
yeah,
comfortable,
yeah.
but
you're about
once
2 hours south.
the
Yeah, you
after
north.
party going to be something different.
Right, I
There's going
know.
to be a lot of gravel
I know.
and construction.
Paved
Yeah,
roads.
see, I don't like that. I
You'll
like
be
to
on some
sit out.
paved roads.
I like to sit in the country, sip some special beers, get away from the, your girlfriend looks a little more pretty. Your jokes become more funny when you're out in the country. It's just like the
I'll
life
co-sign the
troubles
second
go
part,
away.
but you ain't going to get me in trouble with
but
that first.
I mean, I ain't falling for that one.
You try to set us up. So with the wild fermentation, the atmosphere, right? Being that you're more serene, more on the, does that add to kind of just, because I could see sitting out in nature and enjoying something that seems to be more in line with nature.
Yeah. We're right beside a winery. We use a lot of the grapes that are grown right at the winery next door. And we use a lot of fruit that's grown in Oregon, like at the orchards. And so you just feel like you're out with where the stuff grows and where, where you make it.
Wait, we see you over
we see
here
you over there.
with the
Yeah,
katana
I mean,
fan.
you over here.
You the only one with one of them fans.
Right?
You came and stood up here with that fan for a reason. You wanted us to say something. We've been talking about the dress. We love the dress.
We see the shoes.
I'm gonna try it.
Top to bottom.
You ain't gonna put this in
Top
front
to
of me and I
bottom.
don't
stunting
do it.
on everybody here.
You don't act
just
like
so
I'm
you
not
know.
gonna
Yeah,
do
I mean,
it. Hell yeah, I'm a
Right.
fan myself, and I'm not sharing
nice.
none of this wind. Look at this creation. You can make electricity with that.
Bruh, I feel, God damn, I
You
feel
hit
better.
somebody with this before, though,
Like-
right? You can't just have this and just be
That's a
fanning.
community fan right now.
Like a
Yeesh.
mugger ran up on you, just fanned it out and just, because I would. Like if I got in fight with a day right now, I would use this fan.
I said, you rap, and now you know what I mean?
It's got a noise when you open it.
Right?
That's how you know you done pissed her off. You hear the it means it's time to go. It's time to go.
Yeah,
if you hear that. Thank you. So look, what did you just pour up for us?
That's called Oregon Sunrise. And before I tell you about the beer, I want to make sure everyone that listens to you guys knows it's Oregon, not Oregon. Everyone says,
Oregon.
like the gun.
because y'all open
Oregon.
carry.
Everyone says Oregon.
They open carry.
That's right.
That's a different.
That's right.
Yeah, right?
That's right.
Oregon.
Yeah, everyone comes and this beer is called Oregon Sunrise, and they want to say Oregon Sunrise. But regardless what you call it, it's good.
Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail. There you go.
There it
You got
Yeah,
it.
I ain't going over there. I'm not messing with any dude that open carry and has a wagon. That's a very dangerous person.
Yeah. Stay away. Stay away.
As a person, I'm not trying to deal with. The
Yeah.
body of these beers, with the wild fermentation, do you always
Oh,
get
that's
kind
clear.
of like, because it seems there's nothing wild about the body. Like the body seems like it's settled.
Yeah. These
chill.
beers are very dry. No sugar left because good. Oh, you're getting his pinky out. He's got it figured out. He got his pinky out on that one. Nice.
We ain't new to this.
Yeah. So this one has Pinot Gris grape juice.
That's why, because you was telling me about it.
tangerines.
This
Yeah.
the Pinot Grigio
Yeah.
Joan. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we do a lot of wine beer hybrids and mixed culture fermentation on that. And we add some tangerine puree and then add some tangerine zest at the end for a little citrusy note. This is our mimosa-inspired beer. Drink this with breakfast.
Oh,
I
this with the
see.
wifey on vacation.
Yeah.
Little bacon, maybe some waffles.
That's right.
So, with wild fermentation, right? You just letting the shit fall in.
Well, we don't do many of those, and this one doesn't either. Most
Okay.
of it will pitch the Brett and lacto and
Gotcha.
all the organisms ourselves from a lab. We have some that are wild where we just do spontaneous fermentation, and sometimes we'll just put the grapes in, and whatever's on the grape skins does
Is
the
in there
fermenting.
as well.
Yeah.
So, with the wild portion of it,
He's like, I'm getting this question off.
I mean, with the wild portion of it, are there like, does it taste like Oregon? You know what I mean? Like if you get wild shit in Oregon versus wild shit in PA versus wild shit in Belgium, is it going to taste different?
That's how it's supposed to work. Where
right?
like
it's regional
organisms.
Because they call it in wine, it's a terroir.
Right.
Right. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, we're hosting a Terroir Fest happening in September. That was
you
started
got a
by
whole terroir
Firestone.
fest.
That's right. And
I
I just learned how to say the word, and y'all already building festivals off of it.
But that go back to what we were saying about how the industry is diversifying. This is wonderful.
Yep. So there is terroir in the organisms that are in the air because that's your space, that's your place. And same with the fruit you use, the water you use, there's terroir in that as well. And so you definitely get it with the mixed culture. Now, if I sat a Pennsylvania beer, wild beer down, and an Oregon beer, you might not know the difference.
Nice.
But
I'm sorry, I just drank some of that. That is nice.
It's one of them ones.
Woo!
You got to have one of them ones where you put the gold cap on it.
Yeah.
You put the gold cap. That lets you know it's one of them ones.
There's a lot of rapper bottles out here,
it's
man.
One of them ones.
Like, I can't wait until hip-hop really, like, abandons Ace of Spades.
Oh, we on our way.
And starts picking up some of these gold bottles, some of these big body, you know what I mean?
Run the Jewels is already involved. We on our way.
Woo, that is nice. The orange in there?
Yeah.
So do you put orange in there?
Yeah. So we put some tangerine puree in there to ferment with, and then we zested a bunch of tangerines and added those to the tank as well.
I can taste the work on that, man.
Yeah.
That is delicious.
Glad you like
it.
Thank you.
It's bright, like, you know what I mean? Like, it is a morning beer.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, this is a nice morning after.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm starting to understand Dave too much. We've been doing this too long. About to retire. I do want to ask before we go. So we're at the Pittsburgh Mixed Culture Fest. Day and I have always preached, diversity in the industry.
Very
and
much.
We're starting to see where events are being diversified, the people who attend events, etc. How does that affect what you all deliver to your patrons? Like, does that affect what you decide to brew, how you go about brewing, how you, get the word out about Alesong?
Right. Well, one thing that's big is we're finding so many more women that are joining the brewing industry.
Yeah, they're definitely.
We just hired our first woman brewer, and we're looking to get more.
1 second.
Yeah.
They just ran across this festival and smacked the dude's ass. I saw it. I want that to be recorded. What's the minute mark on this? He smacked the dude in the straw hat's ass. I don't know what's going on. But that's not reflective of Alesong beer. Alesong's beer is not a slap on the ass.
Nope.
I just want to say that we have a rule in this podcast. If you hand us anything that's over 9%, you got to say so.
Wait, is this over 9?
This is a 9.5,
You motherfucker.
Bruh. And
sorry.
it does not taste like a 9.5.
Some of a biscuit.
Yeah, I mean, you hear Buzzy. Buzzy's even surprised. And Buzzy, bruh, it's a 9.5.
I'm about
I look
to
at the
pour
bottle.
it up again. That's why you ran over to smack that dude's ass.
Yeah,
I mean,
Look what you did there. This is
I
why
had to
you
run it
gotta tell
off.
us.
I had to run some of this off. 9.5? That's your breakfast beer?
I don't know if that's a rule in Oregon, but over here,
Right.
you 9 or above.
Okay.
I feel like
I'm
we
sorry.
had this
It's
discussion.
9.5%.
That's your breakfast beer? Hey,
Yeah.
y'all got different
Yeah.
breakfasts in
Yeah, well,
Oregon.
you only have to have one. You don't have to have two. You can
God
just have
damn,
one.
that is, and
Yeah.
it's hidden very well.
Yeah.
No,
thank you.
right, for it to be a 9.
Wow.
Well, it's like drinking a mimosa. You're like, well, there's champagne in there, and if you
That
mix it right,
champagne ain't
you can make it.
9.5.
Yeah,
No.
champagne come in at about a 4 or 8. Just double that.
A mimosa?
That's how you fix your mimosa. We do champagne and orange juice. Just a
Oh,
just a
y'all
kiss,
spritz.
just
Get a
a
little
kiss of
spritzer,
orange.
yeah.
A pinch of
The Oregon mimosa.
Oh,
I mean,
the Orgosa. Well,
Yeah.
I thought this was like a
Orgosa.
5%.
That's a good one. I'm gonna write that down. Write it down. That's a name.
so if you listen to the rest of this podcast and it sounds like episode 202, you can thank Matt from Alesong for that.
hell yeah.
Throwing 9.5s at us and not telling us. We should have known with the
Shit.
gold cap.
We just traveled the Oregon Trail in a sip or two. God damn.
That's how you
9.5?
close out a podcast
9.5.
segment, people. We got a cheerleader in the building. We got the Berkey babies over here. Look at the Birkenstock babies. They got the matching Berkeys over here. Shout
Yeah.
out to them.
Yeah, the
They got
Burke.
the matching
Oh,
Burke.
shit, we got the Burke crew.
The Burke trio.
Yo.
They probably go to festivals all over the
And they
all
got
over the
and they
country.
all green. They got like
That's
is
what
it?
I'm telling you,
Are
man. They
ladies,
go
ma'am, ladies.
from festival to festival.
Oh, no, you ain't gonna keep ignoring ladies.
Yeah, well, he pointed.
Hey,
No, the
mustache.
Berkey babies know who we talking
He
about.
know what I'm talking about.
They
See,
know
he go,
the
they
Berkey
keep-
babies
They know
know.
we talking to them.
They didn't just organically show up with the same
Hey,
shoes.
tie-dye.
They don't
tap
even-
these ladies here for
They
us
don't
real
even
quick.
sell that color Nordstrom.
Tap these-
They
no,
don't sell that color Berkey
like,
at Nordstrom.
We have a microphone. You know, you got to listen to people who have microphones, right?
They're ignoring us.
Y'all
They
know that,
famous.
right?
We
That's a
ain't famous.
rule of every
We ain't
event.
famous. Well, we want to thank you, man.
Thank
we don't
you.
want to take away from your time because I'm
That's
still
what
mad
happens
at you for that 9.5 that you
God
hid
damn.
from us. But I'm gonna drink more. Of
Ridiculous.
it.
I'm gonna pour a little bit more of that
Thanks,
though.
man.
I ain't even gonna lie.
Hey man,
God damn.
it was truly a pleasure meeting you today.
Thanks for
man.
having me.
Thank you for being a part
nice to
of
meet you, sir.
the inaugural Pittsburgh Mixed Culture.
There it
I'm gonna
is.
keep saying I'm speaking
We'll
into
see you next year.
existence.
You know what I mean? And coming up to the podcast.
Oh, he famous.
Yeah, I mean,
He
this
ain't
guy
regular. He ain't regular famous. He
I mean,
famous.
came out here with his ankles out, fresh,
Yeah.
fresh out of Chicago.
Yeah, he got the clays on
You know
too.
what I mean? You know what I
He got
mean?
the clays on.
Hey.
Them is like a step above the Stan
can't-
Smith.
You can't see the poison ivy anymore.
Oh, he famous.
That's why they're out.
I feel like when you
Keep
at
that
his
shit dry.
level of fame, you gotta let him introduce himself, how he want to be introduced.
Right? I mean,
I just want you both to know that there's about a 15-foot imaginary line out there where you can't hear a word you're saying.
Oh, that's
They
what's
are-
happening.
they are not
Oh, we in a
ignoring you.
bubble.
Our
They
producer didn't even
they
tell
are
us that.
not in the bubble.
Our producer just sitting there and let us just talk to nothing.
Right? Buzzy's just over there like,
I'm the producer now.
It's like the Simpsons movie when they was in that bubble. You were trying to get out, and we just talking straight to a glass wall. And it's like, why are they not saying nothing?
Nothing.
nice.
Because the Birkenstock, that was a good bit.
The Berkey
And they got you
babies?
nothing.
Nothing. They ain't give us nothing. No level of
They are
acknowledgement.
clearly hosting a Tupperware party style Birkenstock buy at somebody's apartment, and they got you nothing.
You've emboldened us, though. Now that I know that I can say anything about somebody across the room,
Yeah, it's going to
Shit can
backfire.
get goofy
That's bad
over here.
information to have given you.
shit can get goofy. So I know y'all within the range. I know
Yeah,
that.
they in the bubble. It's wild because you see it. You see people that like,
Uh-huh.
and they just like, they come in, they're
Oh.
like, what the fuck is
Like a
happening?
Bermuda Triangle of audio right there, right in front of you. People pass through, they don't hear a word. They
See,
can hear
people-
you laughing. I will say that. They can hear the cackle, but they don't understand what's going on.
That makes it even better.
Right?
Like they never know. Now they're avoiding us, but you're good beer hunting. So that's a different vibe, right? Like that.
Especially when you're talking about wild yeast.
Well, you really hunting at that point.
You know what I mean? We out here hunting.
I told Blake Tyers from Creature Comforts while we were up in the upper echelon here of the third level of the fest out by the Wildflower Garden.
Penthouse.
I was like, you should be harvesting some yeast from this to make beers for next year. You know what he said to me?
Hold on, that might be happening.
He said, "Oh, that sounds like some 2016 shit."
Oh, what?
Whoa.
Wow.
So they beyond that.
So if you think it's esoteric, like the whole construct of this thing is somewhat esoteric, there are levels
Man.
within which nobody even wants to play anymore.
We assume that was set up so that people can come in. Every brewery just pours a little in the top, and then it just ages,
that would be a great idea.
and then just
should
next
happen
year
like
we
an
pour
infinity
whatever
bottle.
the fuck comes
Yeah.
out of it.
It
An
ain't
infinity,
too late.
yeah, an infinity fooder.
Yeah,
Right?
that's right.
It's
You know what I mean?
244.
Call that
They
a
got
Solera.
time.
It don't like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so, maybe next year.
Maybe
No,
more
there's
than a
time
prop
this year.
next time.
Right? Yeah, like
Food or
yeah,
crafter.
like who the hell like where the because them is expensive.
We don't have to
That
give
should
up
be a
on that
fermented
this
dump
year.
bucket.
Right?
That's right.
You got all this brew from all across the world. Man,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That would be like a
You went from
daycare
having your
beer.
first saison to inventing the first festival-based Solera Infinity Fooder in a pretty short amount of time.
Well, the drinking partners.
That is an idea that nobody's ever had.
The drinking partners.
Welcome to the
That's why
podcast.
you
I
have-
dare say it would work.
That's why you have to bring the drinking partners to you. We were just talking about that before we even started. We was like, yo, they should just pour beer in there and just because we like, is that functioning at this point, or did
It's just
somebody just step their presentation game up?
It
Like,
is.
just,
It's pretty.
That's the most expensive
pretty.
prop I've
So-
seen at a festival quite thus far.
So just to set a little groundwork there, Food Crafters is a tiny little operation near St. Louis, maybe in St. Louis.
okay.
Guy used to make violins, I think. He used to make musical instruments, and then he got kind of hooked on beer and started making fooders because he felt he could make them better, faster, cheaper than you used to have to buy like century-old wooden barrels and puncheons and fooders from the wine industry in France to get anything even close to that. And if you were somebody that wanted to make these beers and use those things, you had no access to that. He started making these things, and all of a sudden you had hundreds of programs popping up around the U.S. because they had access to these fooders.
I've been seeing the same ones.
Yeah.
Like just about every fucking where I go, it's the
There's a
same
reason.
one. There's not like there's like a competition. They
Made-
got like a monopoly
Made
on
in
fooders.
America.
Don't put him out there.
Made on and
Yeah, I
not
mean,
expensive.
Don't
Made
blow
in
the
America
game
on the
up.
cheap.
Because, like, motherfuckers be coming out. Like, I know Troves, they got their shit from, like, Italy. Like, motherfuckers flew in Italians.
Yep.
And they, like, built that shit.
No, well, they had to fly them. They had to rebuild it.
Yeah, they had to rebuild it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, then that I mean, I'm not about to do that as a little local.
Right.
But, you know what I
pain in
mean?
the
I
ass.
ain't got Italian motherfucking money. I mean, the Mario
money you would spend on one of these, you end up having to pay to some guy to come from France to repair the broken down shit you got, just to make it serviceable again.
Shit.
So
hold on. Before we go
these guys changed the industry.
Before we go any further, introduce yourself.
I was gonna say we gotta get
we
jumped right in. That's kind of my way.
The knowledge that he just dropped, that's
Right.
not like a regular person. Like you just happen to know this.
He got perfect mic control.
They're like, who is this?
He's already dropping gems and history.
He's got a rain hat on.
The freedom of nobody hearing me right now. That's what it is.
He's got a tent with a brim on the top of his head. This is a special dude.
I did. I wore that hat. That's right.
This is a special dude right here.
With the pool strip in the
This is
back.
not a regular
This
person.
got the pool strip in the back.
Not
This is some
a regular
Wow.
This is some Target brand shit, but
That
I like
shit,
it.
when you pull it, it just like, bloop, and it just opens up.
It's
Now
got-
you're
yeah,
living in
if
it.
you were to happen to fall out of a plane, you're
true.
good.
Just pull the ripcord.
Bulletproof.
I got a little outdoorsy.
This is not a regular dude. You belong on this phone.
That motherfucker's a raft. That motherfucker like, roop, and he's now.
So for the
One of us
listeners
is
who
gonna get
don't,
home.
for the listeners who don't know, tell us about yourself and Good Beer Hunting.
Good beer hunting. Yeah, I started the thing. I am not the reason for it right now. It's gone on to be it started as a personal blog. Like a lot of folks, content creators. You guys are kind of in that vein.
So this is Mike Kaiser. He doesn't like to say his name, apparently. He just wants to.
I didn't realize I skipped that. Michael
be.
Kaiser, yeah.
Michael Kaiser.
Started Good Beer Hunting. That's right. Little blog, going back like 13, 15 years, something like that. But that has blossomed into a beautiful creation with 40 to 50 people all around the globe. Our editor-in-chief, Claire Bullen, is out of London. Our news editor, Brian Roth, is out of North Carolina. International editor, Evan Rail, out of Prague. To give you a sense of, the scope that thing created over time. This year, Jamal Lemon, one of our writers based out of Baltimore.
Also a collaborator on Barrel and Flow Fest.
Jamal
Right
has
on.
to be from Baltimore.
He was one of the folks that got us nominated for our first James Beard Award,
Yeah.
which was a big deal to me personally.
Shout out.
Teresa McCullough from the Smithsonian.
Smith,
We
We might be in there.
We know
We
Teresa.
might be in there.
She good peoples.
You might hear our voice.
But I mean, I guess that's the sense of the spectrum that this thing's been on, and why I don't necessarily take credit for it anymore. Is like it was a personal blog when I started it. Now we got Smithsonian folks writing for us and taking James Beard Awards. It's been a journey. Like the editorial side of this thing has been phenomenal. I run our studio side called Feel Goods Company, which is like a branding, packaging design, innovation pipeline stuff. I work in a ton of beer, bev alc. I work in cannabis. I'm working in juice. Like we do a lot of sort of like brand development. Good Beer Hunting is sort of like a project that's always been like not for profit on the side, just trying to make something as cool as possible in this space that we're all sitting in right now, the three of us, hoping that it could just get cooler and cooler and cooler over time, and more people would show up, and we would just have a better time doing more interesting things. And to be sitting at a festival like this is kind of a culmination of some of those efforts.
I mean, so, I see Good Beer Hunting, not that we're doing anything close to that or whatever, but like you say, kind of like, with the podcast and some of the whatever, where it might not be the breadwinner, but the people that you meet through there, the stories that you're able to tell.
It opens
right?
all the
doors. I mean, it opens up so many doors when, you're able to tell someone else's story. Yeah. And you learn from that, right? You can only live one life, but you can experience so many others by listening to other people's stories 100%. And whatnot. And I feel like that is like with Good Beer Hunting, it's and I don't know, like for me, like reading it, with the podcast and everything else that you do with Good Beer Hunting, like it seems like you're not just talking about like the geek side of things. You're talking about cultural type things. I mean, shifts. You know what I mean? Like, the liquid is important, all of that geek stuff or whatever, but also the people behind it is really kind of, for me, what separates Good Beer Hunting from a lot of other publications. How did that, was that purposeful? did that develop kind of organically? Like, how does that keep going? Like, I guess speak on that a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like the give and take between organic interest and then like turning that into like explicit values is kind of like those are two things that are always sharpening each other, as you like reflect on things and learn about yourself and then figure out what really matters to you. The people is definitely the thing that has always like kept me engaged in this industry because, this industry's gone through cycles of being interesting and then being lame as hell.
Yeah.
Right? And so a festival like this for me is kind of a good moment in time to reflect on like, well, who matters to me? Because there's some folks here that I invited very personally, not just because I think they make good beer. We have 10,000 breweries. And there's like, 30 here?
Right.
There's obviously a selection process going on. And so the people that get invited here are making, I think, best-in-class product, but also are what I would consider to be best-in-class people. Oh, it sucks to be Jamie Warden right now. I'm so sorry, dude. And so, we've got Dwennell here, friends of mine from out in Goldendale, Washington, middle of nowhere. They don't have any reason to be here other than wanting to be a part of something cool and fresh and interesting. Creature Comforts, Blake used to be a photographer of ours for goodbeerhunting.com. He's also been a longtime brewer at Creature Comforts. Like, having him here is really special to me. Having Matt from Sway Brewing up on the hill, like, he's a photographer of ours from 7 or 8 years ago. He just started his own thing. Brewery Vivant, having Jason Spalding here from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Again, no reason to be here. We are in the sticks in Pennsylvania. These guys are never going to sell a bunch of beer here.
We're in Kentucky right now.
We're on someone's land.
This isn't a destination
We're on
space.
someone's land.
I mean, I grew up in Pennsylvania. We used to call it Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Alabama in the middle.
Yeah.
And they were not joking.
No, it's Pennsylvania out here.
That's not to speak badly of this place, but it's to speak to, I guess, sort of like the somewhat isolation that can happen in a place like this. Culturally, industry-wise, like what Cinderlands and Trace are doing here for these kinds of beers is a big deal because you don't get these beers together any other way. And to have people representing them for the first time in a place like this, it matters who's pouring that beer for you for the first time. I don't know, when you and I got to go down to visit the Vale, and we got to visit Nick over at the, where they have all their wood aging, that was kind of like, it's not your first saison, but it's the first time you had somebody like Nick pour that saison.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was definitely it was a learning experience, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
and he took that time with both of us.
Yeah, like I didn't know what saison. Like, so the only thing I knew about saison was like Buzzy would just bring up like weird ass bottles and be like, "This is a saison," and it never tasted the same. You know what I mean? Sometimes it'd be bitter, sometimes it'd be sour, sometimes it'd be a little sweet. Sometimes, I'm like, yo, what the fuck is a saison? Like, right? I mean, so it wasn't until like I kind of had that
Should have
guided
been the name of the fest.
What the fuck is a saison?
Yeah,
right. That's a nice. What the fuck saison fest? Right? But like, I didn't know. And it wasn't until I kind of had that guided tour and the understanding, I was like, oh shit. And then I kind of got excited about it because I'm like, this is a whole new.
But Nick didn't do that because he was trying to give you a guided tour, right? He did that because he was just like excited that somebody showed up and was curious.
Yeah.
And like it just comes from his heart. And I guess that's, the vast majority of folks that are here, it's coming from the heart. They're excited to be here because they get to do a thing that they love for people that they can assume are already interested and curious. And that's the magic of a kind of thing like that. It just creates that exchange.
I mean, it's hard. Like, I feel like that was what beer festivals were supposed to be.
100%.
And then it just became.
Man, you could write a book on what craft beer was supposed to be.
It was supposed to be that. Then it became just drunken lot fest.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like Ed's been saying throughout and whatnot, is that like we're starting to kind of get back into the awe of beer again. Like where there's still a lot of drunken lot fest. Most of them probably are. But like something like this,
you can tell the difference now.
Right? You know what I mean? There's certain fests that like are a little different, and they're different in the sense that you can kind of you get a new experience. And like you're there to learn something, and appreciate, and
or just have a different kind of a good time. I mean, that's what Barrel and Flow represents to me.
What I've seen, and we've talked about this a lot today, where you start to diversify the experience. So you go out to a farm. The setting is different, and it happens to be focused on or hyper-focused on a certain style. And so I was interested. So like you came in, you said 13 years ago, Good Beer Hunting.
Yeah, thereabouts.
So you predate us by 5 years or so, which could be a lifetime in an industry. Like a lot of shit can change. What was that landscape like when you started, and what do you see now where you're you know what, we did that?
I mean, it used to be just like if you found anything even remotely good, it was exciting. And now it's just a target-rich environment in terms of, the beers that you get access to and
You
what you
got
can
all
drink.
the lingo.
I got the lingo.
He got the I got a publication lingo.
He's got the lingo.
Target rich.
They pay him for the lingo.
But I mean, you got access to so much. I mean, even in this age where I think, places like outer Pittsburgh are like a little maybe limited in their access to some of these amazing things that are here, you still got access to some good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Butler is definitely, I mean,
I just had some stuff from Coven, which is like a month old.
Yo, Coven
You told me to go get that, and you were right.
I wasn't going to tell you some shit that I wasn't sure about.
No, you guided me. And not only was it good, but she was friends with people that I knew that came from other places that I know are deeply good.
It's ancestral.
And so but it's also just connecting some good dots, man, of people who think alike, who care about the same things, want it to be a certain way, and they're working hard on that. And I'm not under any illusions. I don't think that there's a future in which that is the majority of anything. But I just want it to be sustainable so that people like us that are interested and curious always have access to the best stuff. And we can just have a good time doing it rather than have to, I don't want to go online and have to engage in a bunch of Reddit folks to get a bottle of something good.
Oh my God, beer trading, man.
Please help. I don't want that to be the
case.
case.
Oh my God, good out of Reddit.
No.
Anytime people are giving reviews online, I'm like,
I want to be able to.
That's a different level of care.
Let me show up on a farm on the outskirts of Pittsburgh and have a phenomenal time.
Well, it's so polarized.
You can hop on a tractor. You can hop on a tractor and they'll take you to the other barn.
They got something we don't have.
I can't wait to hop on that fucking tractor. I keep seeing it pull by.
Swaggy. And we see a bunch of people come in. It's it's like that Berg bus that drives around the city now, but it's we're going to party to the festival.
Yeah.
So we're going to party to a party.
That's just the way I want it to be, man.
So what got you into the craft industry and what keeps you in this?
Well, I used to work at it's a little nerdy, but I used to work in an innovation agency, which meant I was always working 5 to 10 years out on new tech, new culture, new ways of doing business, things like that. And some of our clients were the bigger brewers, right? AB InBev, Miller Coors before they became Molson Coors. And we used to have to work on, new spaces for what was happening in beer at the macro level all the time. It was fascinating. And then I started to get personally fascinated by what was happening at the cottage industry level. And I was like, oh man, there are enough of these fools all over the country, all trying to do it at the same time. It's going to be disruptive. It was an emergent kind of strategy. I started writing about the business of craft beer that way, and people noticed. And I didn't think it was, I thought I was noticing something interesting. I didn't think I was noticing something big. And the bigger that got, the more notice that writing got, and the more people wanted to ask questions and learn more about what I was seeing. And that just turned into a whole new story and trajectory for myself. So left the agency, started my own, started the blog in a serious way, started hiring other people to help write about it that were also kind of seeing it that way. Timing, culture, organic insight, reflect on that and then make it stronger and more interesting, turn it into a business. You know what these things are. These are all the pieces that you've been discovering with Barrel and Flow along the way.
So what gets you up in the morning, right? I mean, because it's after 13 years in this and seeing all the breweries and seeing all, you've traveled and you've done all and whatnot.
Being able to affect culture, being able to shift a perspective on things, like right now I'm working on, on the studio side, I work in a lot of craft beer still, but I still work in large beer. I'm working in apple juice right now. I'm working in cannabis. To be able.
I remember we was down in Richmond and the apple juice folks came up to you and was V, can you help us with the,
Apple juice became my biggest client after that moment. I'm not going to lie.
That's dope.
But yeah, that and cannabis and what's going on and just RTDs and things like that. There is so much happening all the time, and to be able to swim in that stream and watch it change, and to be able to do something cool and watch it shift perspectives, and that's exciting to me. And on the beer side, to be able to just find a niche and make that matter to more people, this thing. I don't need to be in Pittsburgh for any other reason than cool shit is happening here. I think between this and what you've already established years on end now with Barrel and Flow, the stuff that's happening in Pittsburgh is some of the coolest shit happening in beer anywhere right now.
I attribute that to the low cost of living. Shout out to cheap ass property and rent.
And loudmouths.
It was cheap. It was cheap. It's not cheap anymore.
Oh, there it is.
So we're at the inaugural, and I keep saying it, I'm going to keep stressing it, keep driving it home. We're at the inaugural Pittsburgh Mixed Culture Fest. How important is this? So you're well-traveled in beer. How important is it to have a festival as such? And how do you project this for the future? Like, what do you see for the future of craft beer?
I mean, to get people interested in this particular niche of beer, you need to be able to give people access to a lot of it at once. Because otherwise, they're just going to have a one-off experience here, a one-off experience there, and they're going to be like, well, that's not the same. I don't understand the story. I don't see the through line. To be able to walk around here and taste
industry word.
To be able to taste a couple dozen saisons, fruited saisons, to understand the perspective of, you're going to see the word Brett on a lot of these menus, and then you're going to start to think about yeast. The next time you have a saison somewhere like Lorelei, like, you're going to understand, oh, this is this kind of saison. This is this kind of barrel-aged beer. Like, it just accelerates learning. It accelerates culture. The brewers that come here, and this is not necessarily understood by festival goers very often, but these brewers don't get together with each other on this level very often.
Right.
I mean, what you're seeing right here is like, akin to like a record label party. Like, these people know of each other's beers, but they don't get to get together and talk that often.
I like
so
that.
There's a lot of knowledge exchange. There's a lot of potential collaboration coming out of this. There's a lot of people making friends for the first time. They respect each other from afar, but now they got a face, a name. They've tasted what's in those bottles, and they understand how they got there. Like, that's going to matter to them from an artistic standpoint going forward. So culture that comes out of a place like this can change. It can change a whole niche. It's pretty important. And to give that kind of access to a city like Pittsburgh's unprecedented. That just doesn't happen very often. People do this in, they'll do it in New York, they'll do it in Belgium, they'll do it in LA. They're not doing it in Pittsburgh.
They're doing it in Pittsburgh now.
They are now.
No, we want to thank you for joining us, man. As one of the foundational pieces to just covering this and pushing the culture forward. It's an honor to actually be able to sit here with you now, because we haven't had you on the cast, which is kind of crazy.
The feeling is mutual, man. You guys put Pittsburgh on a map for beer in a big, big way. So I appreciate that. I don't think this would have been nearly as successful without those years of Barrel and Flow coming before it.
We just drink. We just drink and sit in front of crowds and curse a little bit.
If you yell in front of the crowds enough, shit happens. I mean,
look at this purse that just walked by.
Cheers to that.
This purse that I'm telling you, bro, this has been a wonderful, I guess we're going to close it out. This has been a wonderful experience. How you doing, sweetheart?
Yeah,
Paul,
man.
What
Shout
up,
out to Paul?
What up, though? How you feeling about it?
Paul?
Feeling good?
Paul's finally pouring his own beers.
Yeah, well, okay, so now we know where that food is here. That's just his supply.
Well, he was over there pretending he made Dre Fontaine for a minute. He was over there taking credit for that.
I'm jealous because he's getting to enjoy it. It's too early for him to put on a festival and start enjoying it. Like, I don't have a beer that I'm just relaxed with at Barrel and Flow till 9:30.
Right? I mean,
just running around sweating. I done lost a layer of clothes. My drawers is wet. When you get that one line of wetness in your drawers, you've been working hard.
Woo!
Woo! Got a lower back sweat all the time.
For me, it's Mickey Mouse. It starts right under,
right
under
here,
right
and
then
you
right
get
on top
titty
of the
sweat.
belly.
Yeah,
I get the Mickey Mouse.
You got A cups.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, man. This has been great. We're gonna enjoy this festival a little more. If you didn't come out, if you're listening and you didn't come out, that's your problem.
Yeah, man.
You should have been out here. They were saying it. They were blasting it. We talked about it. We put a whole episode out.
We even bust some motherfuckers up here. We have
Listen
scholarships and shit.
to us, all right? We when we say go somewhere, go. Just go.
You know what I mean?
It's gonna be a good time.
We be on the poster shit, man. We got Mike Kaiser on the fucking podcast.
It's annoying when people don't just trust you.
Well, we know the reason.
Years of good taste. And they're
We
like,
know
I
the
don't
reason.
know.
We know the reason why
Maybe
they
this
don't
is the
trust
one.
us.
Maybe this is not the one. Like, where is this deliberating coming from? I've never steered you wrong. People be like that. I don't know.
The inaugural?
The inaugural. This is the inaugural because everybody in here is going to come back the next time they say they're doing it.
You know what I mean?
And it's in the barn. They can put like some torches up and get some heat in here. They can do this in the winter.
That's what I mean.
Winter wonderland.
If you ever want to know if a festival is going to come back for a second year, talk to the brewers. The brewers here are thrilled with it because they made it easy for them to show up and do their jobs well. And the engagement they're getting from the audience is next level. and they're happy to be around each other. Like they're all going to sign up again.
That is a great piece of advice. When you build events for everyone involved. Don't just sell the tickets. Those vendors need to feel appreciated.
gotta
The
wanna
venue
be
needs
there.
to feel appreciated. The volunteers, the staff. Make sure you're appreciating everybody in top to bottom. That's any organization. Event top to bottom. If everybody that walks into that building, walks into that event, feels appreciated, you will have longevity. I love going to places where somebody is smiling and genuinely wants to be there while they're, in that service, that role. So, I think that top to bottom is just a key to success in any industry. So
You got to increase your positive reviews and the perspective of the review, right? So the consumer, that's one perspective of review. But like if I, as a consumer, know that, hey, you're giving your all, you feel like there's got to be a little bit of competitiveness that you're going to bring your A game, and also you're going to enjoy it. I'm going to have, in a festival like this, specialized, right, you're going to have more one-to-one with these brewers. Because these beers, my tongue has been dancing all the entire time I've been here. My tongue just been like, what the fuck is going on? So you got to have these conversations. And so I feel like the brewers here probably do feel a little more fulfilled because people are genuinely interested in like, what the hell did you just slide across this table?
Yeah.
And nobody's asking what's your highest ABV.
Nope. And
Nope.
not an IPA in sight.
But with that,
IPA.
But with that being said,
The BPA.
if that ABV is above 9, tell me,
There it is. 9 and above, we need to know.
tell me, please.
We need to know. Stop sliding us these sleeper cells and shit, man. These 9/8s,
hiding by all
10
this
somethings.
wild
Allergas slid us a
fermentation.
10 something behind a big ass name. Look at that sign.
Bermana Tice.
It said Bermana and then had a number on it. But then the 7 below it, it said it started out with 7. But they hit that 10.
Yeah,
Listen,
man.
man.
It was 10-6. It was 11-ish.
Shit, I couldn't even read to the 6 part.
All right, we got a new sitcom, craft beer sitcom, 11-ish. We could have you can have that. You can have that ABC. Day and I will write it. 11-ish. It's going to be all the shit that happens after your
If I know craft beer the way I do, it'll start out 11-ish, it'll end up 20-ish.
Let ABC get to it. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, once again, we want to thank you for coming on. Thank all of our guests for coming on.
Yes,
Thank everybody who came and made Pittsburgh Mixed Culture Fest a success, all right? If it stopped right now, and we're early. Like, this is early in the fest. We just got our first 2 babies here. I saw the first
the
2
baby
strollers.
showed up?
Yeah,
Oh,
baby
shit.
showed up.
It's a real fest.
Next thing, a Greyhound going to walk through here pretty soon. It's going to be a Greyhound here. But, this thing is just getting started, but it's already wonderful, and I can't imagine it not being around next year. So we want to thank our guests. Thank you for coming through, man. Thank everybody who came on. Thank you all for coming through, man. Day, you can sign us off.
Hey, man, if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Play,
Googleable.
and Spotify under Drinking Partners. And you can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnerSpod.
Hey, listen, I've already said goodbye. I'm going to say it again, but as always, Drinking Partners is the crew. Epicast is the family. Pittsburgh Mixed Culture Fest is the wave. Cinderlands Brew Company and Trace Brewing. Man, we got to follow them, man. Make sure you keep it up with what they doing. We out this job.
Like professional. You guys make it that's like fucking professional. Yeah.